Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Today, inshallah, we will continue our study of Surah Al Muminun and try our best to cover from ayah number 31 until 62. Just like every other class, we will start from the actions from the previous class when we went through Surah Al Muminun ayah number 1 until 30. The one big action basically that came was the qualities of a believer. And Al Muminun, the name of this surah, is also coming from believers. So the quality of a believer, what are the qualities of a believer that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defined in the very first ayahs of this surah? So we said, first of all, obviously, in order to be a believer, you have to believe first. Otherwise, how come will you be a believer? And believing means that you have to believe from your heart. You have to truly believe. And if first you have to ask your question, am I really a true believer? Do I really believe in the day of judgment? Do I really believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a revelation to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, or all the things that we are being told in the Quran? Do I really believe all this? And once you get the answer that yes, you are a true believer, then there are certain actions to be taken by Muslims almost every day in order to be truly a practicing Muslim. It's not just enough to be a Muslim, born Muslim in a family. And while you're trying to do everything. By the way, with this topic will also come in today's class. We will all go through it, inshallah. So the first action that came is in the definition of the believers last time is those who offer their prayers with full submissiveness. We have to pray humbly, as if we are praying in front of our Creator. Not like the way, we normally pray, that we just stand there and just, we do the quick exercise and then we wrap up the prayer. No, not like that. Really, truly believing that we are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's the supreme king and the creator of this world and the heavens and the earth and everything. So how would you stand in front of him and pray in total submissiveness? So this is how we need to pray in step number 1. And who else are believers? Those who turn away from a love. Love, the meaning means everything that is dirty, false, shameful, evil, vain, not needed, and all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden and made haram for us. So everything is love. So true believers don't engage in love or all these dirty things or waste their time in these vain and not necessary stuff. Number 3, true believers, those who pay the zakat, which is the obligatory charity. And obviously this takes out the love of wealth from them, and they help others. And this is a mandatory fundamental of Islam, which is paying the zakat, which is a stipulated amount that you have to give away to those who are in need. Finally, those who guard their chastity, that is their private parts, from illegal sexual acts, except from their wives and spouses. We discussed this point in detail in the previous class as well. Those who are faithfully true to their amana, who fulfill their promises, they fulfill their duties, especially towards Allah, being a Muslim, because being a Muslim binds you. You have to follow guidance, you have to do certain stuff, and you have to avoid certain stuff. So all of this is about fulfilling our amana, duty towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained, and also being honest, having morals, and being true to our covenants, meaning promises, and fulfilling our promises. And those who strictly guard their prayers. So the last point, the first point was also related to prayers, and the last point is also related to prayers. Prayer is again a very important fundamental of Islam, which defines us being a Muslim. 5 times prayer have to be prayed according to their stipulated time, and we should not unnecessarily delay them. So this also brings in the discipline, this brings in our connection, helps us to stay connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. So these are all the qualities that we went through in Surah Al Muminun at the start of it and in our first lesson. Let's continue our study of Surah Al Muminun. And yes, the final point here that is mentioned at the bottom, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentioned these true believers who follow all these habits and who are being practicing Muslims. What is the reward for them? The final reward, once you do all of this, those are the ones who will inherit Firdaus or paradise, and they'll be living in it forever. So Firdaus is the highest level of Jannah that will be given to those who are truly believers, definition of whom is in front of us in these 6 points. So I hope this is clear moving forward. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan, the outcast, the cursed one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful. Thumma ansha'na min ba'dihim qarnan akharin. Then we produced after them another generation. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala produces a nation and sends to them messengers and prophets that bring in the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have discussed this in the previous lessons as well, that from the first prophet and messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the last prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the message was the same, that was La ilaha illallah. There is no God except Allah. You just have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow his laws. Don't become arrogant. Don't. And why people used to oppose the prophets and messengers? Because they wanted to keep their own power. They wanted to make their own decisions. They did not want to be bound by any laws of Islam. So which is why they used to completely refuse. And they used to say, no, 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 we don't believe in this, la ilaha illallah. And this messenger is like a person like us, and we don't follow him. And this same pattern, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also mention in the upcoming ayahs as well as we go through. So then we produced after them another generation, though another nation was produced. فَأَرْسَلْنَا فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَٰهٍ غَيْرُهُ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. And we sent among them a messenger from themselves that worship not Allah for you is any God other than him. So worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no God except him other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Then will you not fear? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is highlighting that you should fear if you are doing otherwise, right? So the point here is very important. And we sent among them a messenger from themselves. It is very, very important for a messenger to be amongst the people so that they can relate to him. Because they used to also say argument, how come Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not reveal his revelation on an angel, and why couldn't the angel come down from the sky, and all of these things they used to say. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also explained this, and we have seen this in the previous lessons, that if an angel would have descended, they would have said, oh, this person is an angel. How can we be like an angel? We are human beings. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always sent the message or the guidance via human beings who were the messengers so that people can relate to them. And they used to be the people from amongst themselves whom they already know. So, and we sent among them a messenger from themselves that worship Allah. So the message they used to give was worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is no God for you other than him. Then will you not fear? So if you're not following the guidance, then you should actually fear, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold you accountable on the day of judgment. وقال الملأ من قومه الذين كفروا وكذبوا بلقاء الآخرة وأترفناهم في الحياة الدنيا. And said the chiefs of his people who disbelieved and denied the meeting of the hereafter. So they said that there is no day of judgment. There's no meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. While we had given them luxury in the life of the world, but this is not but a man. So these were the chiefs of the people. These are the wealthy ones. They're the ones who are ruling over people. Now they see a prophet or a messenger coming up, and they are saying, no, we will not follow this person. Why should we follow him? We have the power, we have the wealth, and they are becoming arrogant. And they are completely denying that there is no day of judgment and there is no life hereafter. Why are they doing it? Because otherwise the people will start to follow the prophet and the messenger. And those people whom they were oppressing and they were being cruel upon, and they were making their own laws as if whatever they wish for, those people will not follow them. Then they will follow the messenger and they will follow the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there'll be justice and there'll be equality and everyone will be brought under the justice. So they used to, especially the chiefs, they used to sway away. And this was the same case even in the case of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was being heavily opposed by the chiefs of Makkah who were fearful that their own authority will be undermined if they start to believe La ilaha illallah. Because right now they were making laws in the name of all the gods that were there in the Kaaba. If you don't do this, your God will curse you, and we will be talking to your God, and all sorts of innovations that they had created. So they did not want to let go of that, which is why they did not believe in La ilaha illallah. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also saying that the argument that they put forth is, he is not but just a man, so why should we listen to him? He's just like an ordinary man, like amongst all of us. Yakulu mimma ta'kuluna minhu wa yashrabu mimma tashrabun. He eats of what you eat from, and he drinks of what you drink. So he's just like us. He's eating and drinking like us. How come he's the prophet? Why should we follow him? So this is their argument. Wala in ata'tum basharam mislakum innakum idhal lakhasirun. And surely if you obey a man like you, indeed then you will be surely the losers. So they're saying, if you are to follow a person who's claiming to be a prophet, then you are surely losers. By the way, the counter argument to them would have been, they are also the chiefs, and people are also following them, and they are also men. So this could have been also a counter argument, that how come they are the ones who are ruling. But anyway, so they made their point, and they said that how come you will obey a man who's a messenger, or who's claiming to be a prophet, while he's just like you, he's eating like you, he's drinking like you, and all of that. So this is their argument. Aya'idukum annakum idha mittum wa kuntum turaban wa izaman annakum mukhrajun. Does he promise you that you, when you are dead and you become dust and bones, that you will be brought forth? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring you back to life. How come this is possible? They're saying, once we all die and we are in our graves and we turn into dust and bones, then how will we get back to life, and how will everything thrive? And we have seen it in the Holy Quran again and again. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asking us to look around us, to look for examples how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives life to the dead. Meaning the plants, if you look at the seed is a dead seed, it doesn't move, it goes into the soil and a full plant emerges. From the plant there are fruits, vegetables, entire life cycle emerges. And we also eat fruits. And you know, we eat other animals, and those animals are grazing on the grass and vegetation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grows from the dead soil. And then eventually we all die, and then again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises life. So this is a live example in front of us that should make us believe that, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can easily give life. Similarly, we went through in the previous class the reproduction of the human beings, how the human beings are created from a drop of semen that comes out of the male and goes into a female egg, and it fertilizes. And then the entire process of reproduction, and the child, when a woman becomes pregnant and the childbirth happens. So all of this creation is happening from nothing. So it is very easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise us back again. And this is the argument that they're bringing in front of the people. Do you really think we will be raised again once we die? It's not possible. So this is what they're saying to their people. Moving forward. Hayhata, hayhata lima tu'adun. Far-fetched. It's a far-off idea is what you are promised. So they're saying, no, it cannot happen. This is such a long shot. It cannot just happen. So this is how they're trying to deviate their people. In hiya illa hayatuna dunya namutu wa nahya wa ma nahnu bimab'uthin. Not it is but our life of the world. We die and we live, and we will not be resurrected. So they're saying, enjoy the life of this world. There is no life hereafter. Let's have fun. We will live here and we will die here, and then nothing will happen. It's a black screen, and that's it. So enjoy while you have time. Enjoy while while you're alive, and this is the only life that we have. Now, I just want to pause at this point, and I want to ask a question. Let me see if you guys are with me, or you are, if you're up and not distracted. So the question is, who is this ayah addressing? Is it only the non-Muslims? What do you guys think? Who will answer? So the previous ayah, I'll go back. This ayah that says, no, it is but our life of the world, and we die and we live and we will not be resurrected. So this statement obviously is coming from the non-Muslims and that nation who refused to believe in the Prophet. But do you think this ayah is addressing only non-Muslims? What do you guys think? There is no right or wrong answer. You can unmute yourself and speak whatever comes to your mind. Do you think this idea is only for non-Muslims? Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. So I think that basically it's clear that it's for non-Muslims on one side,
Yeah.
and the other point it can be that it is for the hypocrites, like who claim themselves as Muslims, but they are not. Like they are deceiving people. When they are with the Muslims, they say we are with you, and when they are with non-Muslims, they say that we are with you. So maybe hypocrites.
Brilliant answer, Abdullah. Jazakallahu khairan. Brilliant answer. Yes, there are hypocrites, and hypocrites have been since the very first of the times. They were always, and we have heard about them even in Surah Baqarah. There are three types of people: one who believe, one who don't believe, and one are hypocrites. And then within hypocrites, there were many types that we went through in Surah Baqarah. So yes, so you're right. There are hypocrites that are, when they are with Muslims, they're saying, we are with you. And when they are with the enemies of the Muslims or the non-Muslims, then they're saying, no, we are with you. We were just making them, we were just making fool of them. And, we are actually with you. But then Allah SWT says they are actually making fool of themselves, because they know Allah SWT knows everything and they'll be held accountable on the day of judgment. Even, this point of living in this world, I want you guys to even look around and even look into Muslim families who are not so-called hypocrites, but their behavior is like hypocrites. Hypocrite is what? Hypocrite is someone who claims to be something, who's saying something, but then their heart and while their actions are completely different from what they are claiming, right? So if you look at around us, many so-called Muslims who are born in Muslim families, they're just living their lives for this world. They have nothing to do. They're involved in interest, maybe. They're involved in different haram things, and they take things very lightly. All their life is about this world. Let me earn a lot of money. Let me amass a lot of wealth, and I will secure myself and everything. And they don't do a single act that is for their akhirah. They don't have this top of mind thing that there is an akhirah, there is a day of judgment. I will eventually die. They have completely forgotten it. Why? Because they do not truly believe. And from inside the heart, because once you start believing, you start to get worried. If this life is a test and I've been sent as a test, then what am I supposed to do? What am I not supposed to do? But if you disregard completely all these points and you just live your life as is, and you're not even bothered by halal, haram, and all of these things, and you're just born in a Muslim family, and when you sit with Muslims, you're just talking about, yes, mashallah, Islam, and Alhamdulillah, and all of this, while you continue the wrong practices of interest or zina or any other haram act that is not allowed in Islam. This means you're not considering even the hereafter, and you're just living for this world. So the previous ayah is also valid for such Muslims as well, such so-called Muslim. So the important thing is what? The important thing is, this is the reason. So because they don't believe, so which is why many so-called Muslims live their lives for this world only, because truly, truly they don't believe inside their hearts. So being born in a Muslim family is not enough. The action is we have to believe first truly and become practicing Muslims. Practicing Muslims, what does this mean? Basically, this means that you try to learn what is the guidance, what is the Holy Quran telling me, what are the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam telling me, what is the sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam according to which I have to live my life. If you don't practically implement Islam on yourself and you just get the knowledge, or if you're born in a family and you're just doing the lip service, but you don't change your life, then that means you're not believing, truly believing. Yes, you're born in a Muslim family, you have a tag of being a Muslim, but you're not actually practicing it. And this tells, and which is why you start living your life according to just this world. I am just living for this world. So it is very, very important for us to pause in our lives and analyze our lives. Am I spending the 24 hours of my life only thinking about this world, about my studies, about my job, about my kids, about my career, about wealth, about how many cars I have, how many homes I have, how many plots I have, how many property I have, and all of these things? Or am I even slightly considering my akhirah? Right? So it is very, very important for us to become practicing Muslims. And this is the key. The key word here is practicing. Practicing means you understand the guidance, you try to understand the guidance, you try to build your knowledge, and then you implement it on your lives. I hope this point is clear. Moving forward. In huwa illa rajulu niftara ala Allahi kadhiban wa ma nahnu lahu bimu'minin. He's not but a man who has invented about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lie, and not we in him are not we won't be believing. So these are again the people against the prophet or a messenger who was sent to them, and they're just saying that, you know, this person is just speaking a lie. They've just created it out of their own. No, they're not getting any revelation. This is not the message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How come Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to him and not to us directly? You know, so all these arguments, they were coming and they were saying that this person has just invented, just like they used to say to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, na'uzubillah, he has invented everything that he is saying. So the same arguments are being given. Qala Rabbin surni bima kadhabun. He said, my Lord, help me because they deny me. So the messenger or the prophet reached out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. Qala amma qalilil la yusbihunna nadimin. He said, after a little while, surely they will become regretful. So the answer that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always gives time. Why? Because either people revert back and seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or he sends them further astray. They go down the wrong path further. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, he said, after a little while, surely they will become regretful. When the time will be up, those people who do not correct their ways and they continue to refuse the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will realize and they will be regretful. We have also learned in our previous lessons that on the day of judgment, the biggest thing, the feeling that the wrongdoers will have is regret. And most of the people there, they will be regretting if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us one more chance. And if we could go back in the world, if we could correct our ways, if we could not do haram, if we could follow the halal, if we could follow the guidance, this regret will be the biggest feeling that the wrongdoers will have, and they would want one chance, but it would be over because the time of the test and the exam is over. Now you cannot get the paper back, right? فَأَخَذَتْهُمُ الصَّيْحَةُ بِالْحَقِّ فَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ غُثَاءً. So seized them the awful cry in truth, and we made them as rubbish of dead leaves. They used to be arrogant. We are wealthy, we are cheats. Why should we listen to this person? He's not getting the revelation. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala held them and hold them accountable and gave them punishment, they were just like rubbish of dead leaves. And you know, dead leaves, they're like powder. They're so, you know, dry, and even the wind can blow away. All of their arrogance was completely eliminated. فَبُعْدًا لِلْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. So away with the people of the wrongdoers. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes them and makes them like rubbish. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned them into rubbish. So while they had time, they were arrogant. We are wealthy, we are rich, we are powerful, whatever. This person, we won't listen to them. And once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala held them or hold them accountable, they turned into almost rubbish and they weren't important. So that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deals with the wrongdoers. Summa ansha'na mim ba'dihim qurunan akharin. Then we produced after them another generation. So Allah, it is very easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to replace a nation, and we have seen that before as well. Ma tasbiqu min ummatin ajalaha wa ma yastakhirun. Not can precede any nation its term, and not they can also not delay it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the previous ayah is saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaced the nation. Replace meaning those were punished, they were destroyed. Another people, another set of people, they came in, and now their test started. This is how this world has been operating since the start of times, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. People come, generations come, nations come, they are given a context, a situation, which is a test for them. And then some of the people pass the test, some of the people follow the guidance, majority of them do not follow the guidance. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eliminates those and punishes those, and then brings in the new nation. And the timing of the nations is stipulated, it's designated, it doesn't change. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the time He's giving to a nation to come on the right path, to seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, the very, very important point to note is it is very easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to replace a nation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives time and chance to people to revert back. Okay, so it is up to the people to revert back, and it is in a certain time. If they lose that time and if they continue to be arrogant, then chances are that they will be held accountable and they will be held responsible. So we have to also look to ourselves, and we have to look into the mirror and see where we are going as Muslims and a Muslim nation. I hope this point is clear. Moving forward. Summa arsalna rusulana tatra. Then we sent our messengers in succession. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends messengers one after the other. Kullama ja'a ummatar rasuluha كذبوه فأتبعنا بعضهم بعضا وجعلناهم أحاديث. Then we sent our messengers in succession. Every time they came to a nation, its messenger, they denied him. So we made them follow some of them, others, and we made them narration. So what happened is, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a messenger, there were some of the people who used to follow them and become their companions, and who used to further their cause. And there were many of them who used to do not follow them and and used to oppose them and became their enemies. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all these examples and created these narrations out of these entire stories. فَبُعْدًا لِقَوْمٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. So away with the people who do not believe. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always punishes them and holds them accountable, those people who do not believe. And it is very, very easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like they're not even in his consideration set. It is very easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hold the wrongdoers and to replace them and to turn them away. Thumma arsalna Musa wa akhahu Harun. Then we sent Musa and his brother Harun bi ayatina wa sultanim mubin, with our signs and a clear authority. We went through the story of Musa alayhi salam, how he was sent to Fir'aun and he came to defend the Bani Israel, and the story of the magicians, the story of his stick, the asa that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him miracle. So there are multiple stories that we already went through of Musa alayhi salam, and here is another mention of the story. Ila fir'auna wa mala'ihi fastakbaru wa kanu qauman aleen. To Fir'aun and his chiefs, but they behaved arrogantly. They became arrogant, and they said, Fir'aun said, why should we follow and all of this? And they were a people who were haughty. The word here, aleen, means haughty. Haughty in English means when you look down upon someone, when you think that you are better than someone, and the other person is lower than you. And I have a question. I don't know who will answer. The question is, if a person is haughty, meaning he is looking down upon the other person, will they listen to the other person when he's talking to them, or will they completely ignore the person? What do you guys think? Who will tell me? Anyone? When a person is haughty, meaning they are looking down upon others, then are they likely to listen to them, or they'll completely ignore their message?
Sir?
Yes, Abdullah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. So I think that the second option, which is that they will completely ignore the other people around him. So,
exactly. Yes. Sorry, you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sir. And you're right. This is the answer. And Jazakallah khairan. Yes, you're right. So basically, these are when you look down upon someone and then they tell you something, you're like, yeah, okay, I know. I mean, don't tell me. Why you're telling me about it? Because that's the arrogant behavior. That's the haughty behavior. This behavior makes a person feel superior, which is why they don't even consider the other person. So this is what exactly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling out. This was the disease with Fir'aun and the chiefs. they behaved arrogantly, and there were people who were haughty. They were looking down upon all the other people, and even Musa alayhi salam, Harun alayhi salam, and all the people who were there, Bani Israel, they were always used to look down upon them. Okay, so I want to give you an example. Imagine there are two students who are about to get into an exam. So there is one student and there is another student. The first student thinks that he knows everything, and he doesn't study and he doesn't prepare. So he's like, I already know everything, and I'm very good in this subject. Let's say it's math. And the student thinks that they are perfect in math. They don't need to study. And the teacher, what will the teacher tell me? I mean, I already know. I've done this, and I've gone through the workbook 3 times and I know the book or whatever. So this is in their head. They think that they are better. And then the exam day comes and they don't study and they don't prepare, right? And then there is a second student. The other student is a good student, but still he studies to learn more. He's open to learn more. He is not like, I'm Mr. Know-it-all. So what do you guys think? Who's likely to pass the exam? The first one or the second one? It's a very straightforward answer, I know. Who will answer? Do you think the one who thought that I know already and I don't need to study and all of this, he will pass the exam, or the guy who was still thinking, learning, preparing for the exam? Who will pass the exam?
Sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a very easy question, and I wanted others to give a chance.
Sure.
But I'll answer.
Anyone else? Who will answer?
Yeah.
Any other guys? Are you all with me? Are you all with me? Most of the guys.
Sir, would you like me to go ahead?
Just a second.
Okay, Mahad.
Mahad, you unmuted. Go ahead. What do you think? There is an answer that came in chat. The guy who studied.
I think the second student would pass.
Excellent answer, Mahad. Brilliant answer. Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you so much. You're right. The second student will pass, because the first one was so full of himself. He thought, I don't need to study. I don't need to learn. I'm already great and I am brilliant. I am the best and everything. Thank you so much, guys, for answering. I know, Omar, you also gave the answer. Faiz and Mahad, Jazakallahu khairan. And I'm sure, Abdullah, you already knew the answer. So it's a very straightforward thing. We just need to apply the same thing to our lives. Okay. How can we apply it to our lives? First of all, we should not think that we are better than others, and we have to continue learning. The other thing is, if you still think that, I am better than others, then you cannot learn and grow, because you'll always think that, there's nothing to learn. This guy, what will he teach me? No. I mean, I know better than him. And, so it is very, very important to stay humble and continue learning. Now, if you apply it to the test of life or the exam of life that we are all going through, and when you become haughty or when you become arrogant and you look down upon others, and if you start to look down upon, like they were doing, the nation, the entire nation, and they were looking down upon their prophets, the chiefs and the Pharaoh were looking down upon Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam, who had brought to them the knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But their attitude was, who are you to tell us? We don't need this. I mean, we have power, we are the chiefs, and we are the one who are ruling. We have all the Bani Israel is our slave. So how come you are coming amongst them and you are amongst them and you're telling us, what to do and to follow one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all of this? So they became arrogant. If you apply this thinking to becoming arrogant in anything that you do in life, then you will realize that you cannot really grow. Obviously, for religion, it is straightforward. For Islam, we have to build our understanding. We have to continue learning about Islam, and we have to continue implementing and grow to become a better Muslim. That is one part of this. The other part that I wanted to highlight is, even in life, in anything that you want to learn, if you're a student, or if you're not even a student, if you're acquiring knowledge, you have to be open. You don't have to be haughty, meaning you don't have to think about others as inferior to you. If you start becoming, if this is how you think about others, you will not be able to learn. So it is very, very important that you stay humble and you continue to learn and you continue to grow. In matters of religion, in matters of Islam, which is very, very critical for us to pass the exam of life for which we have been sent. So that is a one very important part. But also, as your approach in life to other things, you have to always be open and continue to learn and grow yourself. So I hope this point is clear. Moving forward. فقالوا أنؤمن لبشرين مثلنا وقومهما لنا عابدون. Then they said, shall we believe in two men like ourselves for us while their people are our slaves? So this was the point that they became arrogant. So now they are talking about the chiefs, and the Pharaoh are talking about Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam. And this tells you the disease in their mind, that they said, so these two men have come. And why should we believe them? Because they are amongst the slaves. They are amongst Bani Israel whom we have enslaved. So why would we even listen to them? They maybe want our power, they want our government, and they want whatever. So they were not even open to listen while seeing the open miracles that Musa alayhi salam had brought to them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we went through the story, the magicians whom they brought as a competition to Musa alayhi salam, they immediately realized and they immediately started following Musa alayhi salam, even without the permission of Pharaoh. And he was so angry with them. He said, I will kill you and I will get you. I will cut one arm and one leg and all of those things. But they were so clear. They said, no, we follow the Lord, or the Rabb of Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, la ilaha illallah, because they believed and they saw the miracle. Even after that, the chiefs and Pharaoh, they were, arrogant, and they looked down upon them and they said that you have also been mesmerized, and then they went against them. So this is what they're saying. Shall we believe in two men like ourselves while their people for us are slaves? Or why should we believe? فَكَذَّبُوهُمَا فَكَانُوا مِنَ الْمُهْلَكِينَ. So they denied them and they became of those who were destroyed. We know how they were completely eliminated in the sea. When Musa alayhi salam went through the sea, he put his stick down, it parted, and Musa alayhi salam and the Bani Israel, those who were following him, they passed through the sea. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created that way. And later on, when Pharaoh, his army, and the chiefs, when they went in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed the sea to close, and they were all drowned, and that's how they were punished and they were held accountable. So this is how they were destroyed. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ. And verily we gave Musa the scripture so that they may be guided. They were given Torah, the book of guidance, that they later changed, and they had multiple versions and they made changes to it in order to fulfill their own desires. So after Musa alayhi salam's time, Torah was changed and there were different versions that were created just to because of their worldly desires. Later on, that was passed on to the generations. وَجَعَلْنَا ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ. Now coming to the second example, another example. وَجَعَلْنَا ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ وَأُمَّهُ آيَاتًا وَآوَيْنَاهُمَا إِلَى رَبْوَةٍ ذَاتِ قَرَارٍ وَمَعِينٍ. And we made the son of Maryam, Isa alayhi salam, and his mother a sign, and we sheltered them to a high ground of tranquility and with water springs. We learned about the miraculous birth of Isa alayhi salam, and how Maryam salamun alayha, she was instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how this miraculous birth came without even a father, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instilled the ruh via Jibreel alayhi salam into Maryam salamun alayha, and the entire story we went through. So this was also a sign for people, and we also know that Isa alayhi salam was also given a book, Injil. That was again later on changed and twisted by Christians, and all the changes that were made, and there's an Old Testament and the New Testament and different theories and innovations that came after Isa alayhi salam. So this was also a sign for people to believe. Ya ayyuhar rusulu kulu minat tayyibati wa a'malu salihah. O messengers, eat of the good things and do the righteous deeds. This is what we are supposed to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so many halal things to enjoy in this world, so many fruits, vegetables, meat, and all of these things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spread across the world to sustain life. These are amazing things that are available, and we have been asked to do righteous deeds. We can follow, we can enjoy this life totally following the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by fulfilling all our desires, all our needs the halal way. So it's just that we have been prohibited to do or consume or eat certain things that are even beneficial. So if you stay away from them, they are that in itself is a benefit for you in this world, but we don't realize. Medical science continues to prove such things, how alcohol is harmful for health and other things that we have been asked, and multiple other things. I mean, medical science continues to prove everything that has been revealed in the Holy Quran and explained to us by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his hadith, and also shown to us in his sunnah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inni bima ta'maluna alim. I am indeed of what you do all knower. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking the messengers to eat of the good things and do all the righteous things, follow the guidance basically. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything that is being done, everything that is being said, everything that is not being said, everything that is in our hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a knower of everything. وَإِنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ ummatan wahidatan wa ana rabbukum fattaqun. And indeed, this is your religion. Islam is the religion. It is one religion, and I am your Lord, so fear me. So this is the absolute statement from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I discussed earlier, all the messengers, all the prophet brought in the same message. La ilaha illallah. This is one religion, one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's the only Lord whom we need to worship. فَتَقَطَّعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ زُبْرًا. But they cut off their affair of unity between them into sects. People get divided. They became Christians, Jews, Muslims, hypocrites, and multiple pagans and disbelievers. Even today, you see multiple sects of people. كُلُّ حِزْبٍ بِمَا لَدَيْهِمْ فَرِحُونَ. Each faction in what they have, they are rejoicing. So they're just having fun. They have created these sects just so that they can enjoy this world and they can hold their own authority. A lot of the time, these groups get formed because they want to create their own authority. The leader wants to follow the people to follow him and not the other person and not the other person. So they create these differentiations in order to establish their own authority versus the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only authority that needs to be established is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, they create these sects, these groups, these differences. Follow me. I know the right religion. I know the right, even there are multiple versions in Islam. I know the right Islam and I'm following this and I'm following that. No, we should try to look at commonalities. We should try to look at the fundamentals and the overalls as well. So here, the intention of dividing people into sects is so that they follow me. They follow I become their ruler and I govern people. So it's about their own power and lust for this world. فَذَرْهُمْ فِي غَمْرَتِهِمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. So leave them in their confusion until a time. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a designated time for all the people, as nations, as individuals, as groups, as sects. Everyone has a stipulated time. And what is that stipulated time? Obviously death. Death and the day of judgment. So no one can say that, I've been living here for thousands of years and everything. Everybody dies and that's the time that they have. So before our time comes, before our death comes, or before the day of judgment comes, we have to follow the right path and start to follow the guidance and be better Muslims every day. أَيَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّمَا نُمِدُّهُمْ بِهِ مِنْ مَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. Do they think that what we extend to them with it of wealth and children? So this is a very, very important point. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them children, wealth and power in this world. نُسَارِعُ لَهُمْ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. We hasten to them in the good. So already they have guaranteed good in this world. And now they think that they will be getting good and getting all the blessings in the hereafter. بَلْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. No, they do not perceive it right. Because what people used to think is, we are doing so good. We are so well off in this world. We are the chiefs. We have the power. We have the authority. Even if there is a day of judgment, or even if there is a Lord or a Rabb, he will continue to bless us in the hereafter. So that's what their mentality and thinking was. A lot of the people in this world today even think, we are so off, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept us so well. We have so much wealth, extra money, so many houses, so many cars, so many children. I have a lot of power and people are following me and everything. I am sorted because I am sorted in this world. I am sorted in the hereafter as well. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is not the case. So the point to note and action for us is being blessed with wealth, children, and power in this world is not a guarantee of success in hereafter. Those people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives wealth and gives power, they are also going through a test. And those people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give, let's say, wealth or power, and they are being tested, they are also being tested for their patience. The difference is the people who have wealth and those who have, there are two types of people, those who have and those who don't have, or the have not. So the haves and have nots, two type of people. So those people who have wealth, who have power, who have extra money, who have children, who are, they are tested. What will they do with it? Will they help others, or will they be miser and keep everything to themselves? No, I need to secure myself and secure my future and secure my 7th generation and 8th generation. I will not help everyone. I will just keep on sitting on my wealth like a snake, and I will not, give anything to anyone, and I'll just be selfish, miser, this mindset, So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing those people. What will they do with the extra wealth? What will they do with the power? Will they provide justice? Or will they just take all the power to do corruption and just keep everything for themselves? Similarly, those who doesn't have, the have-nots, they are being tested for what will they have patience? Will they continue to seek from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And so both need to believe, and in both situations you need to. And the way you live your life in both situations depends on what will be your hereafter. Being amongst the haves, or those people who have, is not a guarantee that you will have everything and all the blessings in the hereafter. It's just a test that everybody is going to. There are different situations and contexts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. We have to follow the guidance in all situations by being a practicing Muslim. And by the way, it so much happens in one lifespan of a person that sometimes they have, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes a few things away and they fall into have-nots. Or similarly, they start low in life, but then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them wealth or gives them power and they rise into power. In all situations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing us. What is our job is, we have to stay close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to keep our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to be practicing Muslim. We have to have patience in all situations. And then live our lives accordingly. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying previously as well in those ayahs as we went through, that it's not like, they have in this world, they think that, they will have in the hereafter, and they're all sorted. So I hope this point is clear moving forward. We are almost on time. Alhamdulillah, we have 5 ayahs left, inshallah, and we are almost on time. Inna alladhina hum min khashiyati rabbihim mushfiqun. Indeed, those who they from the fear of their Lord are cautious. So always have the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning the fear that I don't want to offend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you don't want to offend someone, what do? You are very careful. What they like, what they don't like. I should not do something that, they don't like. Otherwise, they'll be angry or whatever. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us guidance. Though those people who are fearful, am I on the right path? They continue to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please keep me on the right path. I don't want to make a mistake. Yes, when they make mistakes, so human beings are bound to make mistakes. So when they make the mistake, they go back and they seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They try their best not to make the mistake. They never do deliberate mistakes. Mistakes happen with them, but that is something that can happen with any human being, and they go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. So they're always fearful. They're always cautious. Every decision they make, they keep Islam and the guidance into their mind. So they always apply the guidance filter, as we have discussed. Guidance filter means, is my decision, is my action taking me close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam, or is it taking me away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam? And yes, anyone can slip. And when somebody slips, shaitan puts it into their mind, you're such a bad person. You just did such a nasty thing. You just watched such a dirty video that your friend sent, or a movie or whatever. And how now this prayer time, how come you'll go in front of Allah SWT, forget the prayer? No, keep watching whatever. Keep watching, keep just doing whatever you're doing. This is the way of shaitan. Arrogant, not seeking forgiveness. The way of Adam alayhi salam and versus shaitan, we discussed it multiple times, Iblis and Adam alayhi salam. The way of shaitan was, he wants to continue. He went into his arrogance and he continued without asking forgiveness. But Adam alayhi salam, when he made that mistake, he immediately asked forgiveness, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him the prayer to ask forgiveness as well. So we have to follow the sunnah of Adam alayhi salam. Whenever we make a mistake, we go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what shaitan whispers in our head is, no, you're such a bad person. You did such a lousy, bad thing. How come you will go even in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Forget about it. No point of praying now. You're such a bad person. Don't even pray now. Why are you fasting? And why are you doing this? And why are you giving zakat? And so you have to make sure that you keep on going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and establish that connection, which is why the prayer point that we had at the start, which was a lesson from our last time, is very, very important. So here, these are the people, those who indeed they fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they have fear in their hearts of their Lord. They are very cautious in their lives. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ يُؤْمِنُونَ. And those, they believe in the signs of their Lord. What are the signs in the ayah? All of these. The entire Quran is a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there are different signs. The true meaning of the word ayah is a sign, right? So this Quran, they believe in the ayahs, meaning the signs all around us, spread around us in this world, as we discussed earlier as well, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives life. All of these are signs for us to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So those are the people who believe in signs. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِرَبِّهِمْ لَا يُشْرِكُونَ. And those who do not associate partners with their Lord. They don't do shirk. And we have gone through in detail in our earlier lessons on shirk. And there are short videos as well that we discussed for shirk, which is associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, worshipping someone else, and expecting things from others that should be expected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Wallahu khairur razaqeen. He's the one who provides this. If we expect that our boss will give us the job or the salary, or someone will give us, yes, there's a network that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. We have to live with people, and we have to seek out to people. But in our heart, we should know the source of all goodness, the source of all rage, the source of everything is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to use the network of people and these agents, if we were to call them, around us. But the belief should be the source is always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So those with their Lord, they do not associate partners. They don't do shirk. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. And those who give what they give while their hearts are fearful, because they will return to their Lord. So these are the people who give. These are the people who care for other people while their heart are fearful. There's a very interesting Sahih Hadith related to this ayah. Narrated Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I asked Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the following verse: and those who give that their charity which they give, and also do other good deeds with their hearts full of fear. So she added, are these who drink alcoholic drinks and they steal and they do the wrong things because they have fear in their hearts. So most likely they're doing something wrong, right? You're fearful, especially when you have fear, you're most likely doing something wrong. But what was the answer from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? From the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, no, O the daughter of As-Siddiq. She was a daughter of Abu Bakr Siddiq. So he's saying, no, the daughter of As-Siddiq. But they are those who fast, who pray and practice charity, and they are afraid that their good deeds may not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from them. It is these who hasten in good deeds. So these are the people who do good deeds. So it's not those people who are fearful because they're doing some wrong stuff. So on the other side, they're also doing some good stuff. So it's like a thief who's stealing from people, but when he steals, he gives part of this earning to for goodness as charity, so that he feels good that, I'm also doing something good. Or someone who does corruption and bribery, he amasses a lot of wealth, and then just to show the people, or just to show part of it, he gives in charity and takes snaps and comes in newspaper and all the news and everything, just to show how good I am. So not like that, not those people. So the ayah here, the previous ayah, and those who give with what they have while their hearts are fearful because they will return to their God. This doesn't mean their hearts are fearful because they're doing something wrong and they are evildoers and they are wrongdoers. No, their hearts are fearful because they do all the good deeds. That is, they fast, they pray, they give charity. But the reason of their fear is if their good deeds will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. Subhanallah. We should also be fearful. We know how we pray. We know how flawed our deeds are. We are full of mistakes. We don't perform perfectly right everything. Even when you're doing good deeds, there are flaws in them. So we should always pray and hope and be fearful if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept it. And we should pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our good deeds, anything that we are doing. Okay, so I hope this point is clear. Moving forward, the last two ayahs for today. Ulaika yusari'una fil khairati wa hum laha sabiqun. It is those who hasten in the good deeds and they are foremost in them. Again, the explanation came from the previous ayah. So these are the ones who really look for good deeds. They are hunting for good deeds. It's not like somebody came and asked you for help and you're like, no, I don't have time. No. And you have a big bank balance and somebody asks you for small amount of money and you're like, no, I don't have money, go away. This is one behavior, those people who are selfish. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it is those who hasten, who are looking forward. They are eager to do good deeds and they are foremost in them. They are the ones who are leading. They are ones who are saying, yes, I will do it. Yes, I will help the first time. So this is a mindset that we need to develop. You guys are still young. MashaAllah, you guys are just starting your lives. I want you to always remember, try to hasten in good deeds. Try to be the first ones who perform a good deed. Don't wait for others to even seek out to you. If you sense that somebody needs help, if you sense that somebody, don't wait for them to say it even, because it takes someone to really overcome their ego to even ask for help. There are people who are white collar, who cannot even ask, and it is very difficult for them to ask. So we should hasten for good deeds, and we should be aware. A Muslim should be aware about their surroundings. We should not be closing our eyes and just going around our own things and be in our own world. And which is why also we have been also asked to pray in congregation in the mosque, because when you go to the mosque, you talk to people, you try to talk to people and you connect with others and you try to get their problems and understand, and so that the Muslims can help each other. This is like a community system. So it is those who hasten in good deeds and they are foremost in them. Final ayah for today. وَلَا نُكَلِّفُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا وَلَدَيْنَا كِتَابٌ يَنْطِقُ بِالْحَقِّ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. And we do not burden any soul except to its capacity, and with us is a record which speaks with the truth, and they will not be wrong. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one thing that we need to, and this also came earlier in our lessons, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't burden any soul more than what we can take. So we just discussed that there is an exam and a test that all of us are going through. Whenever there is a tough situation that comes to us, and there are many situations where we feel helpless, or we can feel like, what will I do about it? Or we are sad, and all these feelings that we develop, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one thing that we as Muslims should always believe is there is nothing or no hardship that will come to me that I cannot bear. And this ayah, and in the earlier lessons we went through, I think it was Surah Baqarah, where we went through and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that there is no burden that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to a person or a soul except what we can take. So this should always reassure us that regardless of the toughest and toughest of time that we face, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not overburden us with something that we cannot take. And with this confidence, Muslims should continue to live their life and be hopeful and continue to ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we do not burden any soul except to its capacity. And with us, there is a record that is with the truth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is recording everything, and no one will be wrong. So it's not like the judges of today or the courtrooms of today, where a lot of people get wrong because the witnesses gave the wrong testimony or they were wrong evidences that were shown. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the day of judgment, no one will be wrong because he has the absolute knowledge, which is why he is the best of judges. A judge is good when he has good knowledge, so he can make the right decision. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the absolute knowledge, so he is the best judge of all, which is why on the day of judgment, the judgments that will be passed, they will be based on absolute truth and everything that is recorded, and if needed, it will be played back. Today we know everything is, how things are, lives are getting recorded. You can put a camera over here, you can put a CCTV camera outside, and let's say if somebody came in and they stole something outside of your house and you have a CCTV camera, or let's say they tried to break into your car or break into your house, you have recorded it into CCTV camera, right? So that's how you can play it back in the courtroom, and you can show this person came in and broke into my house or broke into my car, and this is a CCTV footage or video. Just like this, our lives are getting recorded. And today for us, it is so easy to understand because we see all of this technology around us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also recording our lives, and no one will be wronged because all of this absolute knowledge will be there and will be available. Okay, so I hope this point is clear. This marks the end of today's lesson. We will quickly go through the lessons from this class and the actions from this class. There are mainly three. Number one was being born in a Muslim family is not enough. We have to believe and become practicing Muslims. Just because we are born in Muslim families, it doesn't mean that now automatically we'll go into Jannah and we can live our lives. And the point that came was those people who reject Islam or reject the message of messengers and prophets that were coming, they used to say, no, the life of this world is what? We will have fun, we have the power, we have the wealth, we are just living in this world, we will die, there is no day of judgment, no one will bring us back to life. And we discussed this as Muslims as well, and a lot of Muslims as well, they do not truly believe on the day of judgment, otherwise they will correct their lives. A lot of people just live their lives for this world. Majority, 100% of their time is for this world, looking how I can get the best education, best job, best this, and kids and wealth and the property and financial independence, and I need to secure my 7 and 10 generations. So they, so all of these, if a person is only occupied with this world, that means he's not believing in afterlife and he did not understand the test of this life. Which is why even for Muslims, this point is really important, that just being born in a Muslim family is not enough. You have to be a practicing Muslim, which means you have to follow the guidance, follow what is halal, abstain from what is haram, and follow the guidance in the Quran and the Hadith and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Action number 2 is never think that you are better than others. And this is a new term that we learned today, which is haughty, H-A-U-G-H-T-Y, which means that when you look down upon others, and this is exactly what Pharaoh and the chiefs did with Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam, when they came with the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they looked down upon them and they said, you're from Bani Israel, you're from our slaves and we have enslaved your nation, why should we listen to you and you are below us and all of this. We took this message, we took this lesson from an Islamic perspective. For sure, we should not be arrogant, we should not be haughty, because otherwise we should continue to learn. We should continue to increase our knowledge so that we can be better practicing Muslim, connecting to point number 1. And similarly, when you apply it to your life, otherwise as well, you have to always be eager to learn. You have to stay humble, because if you think in your head, I know everything, then you won't be learning, because you'll be blocking other people and thinking, what does this guy know? I know better than you. What do you know? I know better than you, right? So don't have this mindset. You need to always stay humble and keep learning from others, from experience of others, from their knowledge and everything. That's how you will personally grow in life as well as in the religion. Last point, last action for today. Being blessed with wealth, children, and power in this world is not a guarantee of success in hereafter. Because a lot of the time, those people who became arrogant, they used to feel that, Allah SWT has given us so much, or we are blessed so much, we have the wealth and power, and even if a day of judgment comes and we are given afterlife, we will be all sorted. But this is not the right way to think, because everyone who has been sent in this world, those who have and those who don't have, meaning those who have the wealth, power, and everything in this world, children and all of that, they are also being tested. What will they do with it? Will they keep it for themselves? Will they become selfish? Will they become miser? Or will they help others? And then those people who do not have, they are going through their own test if they will be patient and still thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first people who have, they need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and help others. The second people, even who don't have, they still need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have patience and continue to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everybody is going through a test in all situations. There is no guarantee, regardless of how life is here in this world, of what will be hereafter. It only depends on how you follow the guidance and if you are truly a practicing Muslim. So I hope all these points are clear. Jazakumullahu khairan to all of you. We will end today's class. Are there any comments, any thoughts from anyone before we end today's class? Okay. So we end today's lesson. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Purity belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all praise be to Him. Purity belongs to you, O Allah, and all praise be to you. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship besides you. I beg forgiveness from you and I repent before you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, I will see you next time, next week, same time. Assalamu alaikum.